Hi, I'm James McGuire, here at the RSA Conference with Brandon Hoffman, Chief Strategy Officer for Intel 471. Brandon, thanks for talking with us.
James, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here today.
All right, so let's talk about operationalizing threat intelligence. But first, tell me a bit, if you would, about Intel 471. How does the company serve its clients?
Yeah, so Intel 471 is a premier provider of threat intelligence. We're specifically focused on closed-sourced, or some people call dark web threat intelligence, which means it's not so easy to get. So we focus on that. We have researchers all around the world who collect information, and we process that information to a usable format. We share that with our customers through our platforms.
What about operationalizing threat intelligence? What is difficult about that for companies?
What's difficult about it is traditionally threat intelligence came in a couple different flavors. There's malware-related threat intelligence like indicators. Those are somewhat easier for customers to operationalize because it's a technical component that you can put in another technical system. But real adversary-focused threat intelligence, which is one of the things that we specialize in, is difficult because it generally came in a report format. So what customers would need is they would need a group of analysts or threat intelligence experts on their side, on their bench, so to speak, working inside the company, who knew how to kind of dissect that information, process it, and use it and apply it to the problems inside the company itself.
Okay. All right.
As opposed to something like a technical indicator, which you could put into a SIM or a SOAR or a firewall, and it would just kind of do what it needs to do. So that becomes the challenge. There's a lot of rich data available inside of threat intelligence, and unlocking the power of it into an operational system is kind of where we're focused, because that's one of the biggest challenges we see today in the market.
So there's a number of different types of operationalizing threat intelligence products. I'm sure that some companies are confused. How do I select one? What advice would you give them?
Well, the first challenge, of course, is selecting what type of threat intelligence is right for you. The way we view this is that there's a variety of different kind of levels that you work your way through. It also depends on the problems the customers are facing. So we have things like open source intelligence, we have vulnerability intelligence, there's malware intelligence, adversary intelligence. So depending on the problem that the company is trying to solve and how integrated security operations and threat intelligence itself is into the business fabric, will help you kind of decide what you need. Now on the operational system side, you have things like TIPS, you have SIMs, you have SOARs, you have EDR. There's a variety of different operational systems. These are the systems that customers run in their network or on their systems that help them enforce security controls. And getting that threat intelligence to those will also dictate which solution you may choose. So the type of intelligence you have, the problem you're trying to solve, will tell you kind of what systems you want to apply the problem to.
Is it usually done by size of company or not necessarily?
You would think so, right?
Yeah,
you would think so, but actually no. Sometimes it's the industry that they're in.
Okay.
They're usually trying to solve a discrete set of problems in certain industries that will determine, for example, oil and gas has a very specific problem set that sometimes all of threat intelligence is not applicable to. That's just an example.
Right.
Sometimes it's about scale, but really it's about the team that's working inside the company and the company's security focus. Some companies are focused on securing endpoints, some are focused on securing consumer experience through a website. So really depending on what they're trying to secure, that will also dictate what they need.
All right, let's drill down into the 471 product offering. What solutions do people know about Intel 471?
Yeah, so our classic offering is a product we call Titan. That's a threat intelligence portal where customers can go and they can kind of set their requirements, what they're looking for, the things that are important to them, like, hey, we're looking for this type of threat actor, or we're concerned about this type of attack. What information do you have? Inside of that portal, there's a variety of different ways that the information is delivered. Some of it's just raw information that somebody could consume and use on their side. Some of it's finished reporting that might go to the executive level. Some of it's very technical that people will consume through a programmatic interface, an API. And then about 18 months or 2 years ago, we acquired a solution called Spiderfoot, which is an attack surface solution. So that's really focused on helping customers understand what's available external to our environment that somebody could attack. What systems do we have exposed, what vulnerabilities, things like that. And then actually last week, we finished another acquisition of Cyborg Security, which is a premier provider of threat hunting. So they have a whole platform called Hunter that helps really actually operationalize our data into those downstream systems by taking adversary techniques, tactics and procedures, behavioral information, and also classic indicators, and put them into hunt packages that you can then push into those systems to find out, do I have a problem?
Okay.
Yeah.
It makes it easier in a sense for the security folks.
Exactly, yeah, much easier for them.
All right. So let's look to the future. I think companies want to know, what's coming, say, 2 to 4 years from now, and how can we get ready for it now? So if you look into your crystal ball, what do you see in the future?
Well, I mean, short term, we're seeing consolidation across the market where people who, customers and suppliers are collecting more different types of data to provide it in one singular place.
Okay.
That's one thing that we kind of knew was going to happen. But again, this operationalization of the data, I think threat intelligence is going through this transformational period where it was very popular for a long time to get these reports and to be able to somewhat digest this information in systems. But I think the focus on providing return on investment, right, outside of threat intelligence, just like any other business, is really predicated on customers being able to use that in operational systems and see results and actually meaningfully reduce risk. And we believe that a big bet for us on that is through threat hunting. And really, for me, the combination of attack surface, really focused threat intelligence, operationalized through threat hunting, really will make a big impact for customers, and that's where we think the future is going.
Well, you use the phrase meaningfully reduce the risk.
That's right, yep.
How is that quantified in some way? How do we know that?
It's typically quantified through the governance side of a business. So they say, hey, we have these procedures and policies. We've measured business risk according to our business. We know fraud, for an example. We know how X millions of dollars might be lost if this type of attack takes place.
Right.
And so we've introduced these controls. And those controls are enforced by using this technology. And so if we see that actually reducing that risk, then we know that we have a return on investment.
Okay. Brandon, a lot of good stuff. Thank you very much for sharing your expertise today.
Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure.
Great.